definitely of the opinion, that we should have some DEI hires in this administration, you know, the ones that definitely earned it, because clearly we've got a bunch of incompetent fools that are trying to run our country, and actually they are running our country. They're running it straight into the ground.
As much as Trump and Republicans hate to accept it, we are still a country.
Jasmine Crockett just dropped a sharp political reality check that instantly grabbed attention, so get ready. In this video, the focus is JD Vance, who once criticized Trump harshly, but now appears eager to align himself with the MAGA movement and angle for a vice presidential spot. Crockett wasn't buying the makeover for a second. She carefully broke down his sudden shift, calling out how it clashes with his earlier principles, pointing to his clear ambition and describing him as someone reshaping himself purely to chase power. This wasn't a casual critique or a passing jab. It was a thorough and pointed takedown that laid everything out in the open. Crockett's message was clear. Political flip-flopping doesn't always happen quietly anymore, and some reversals are obvious, awkward, and played out in front of everyone. The moment was bold, memorable, and full of the kind of direct energy many people feel Congress has been missing.
You know, the lack of cohesiveness on that side is why this has been the most unproductive Congress. People all over X and everything is like, well, they don't deserve anything. They're so unproductive. Let me tell you, the people that y'all keep putting in charge are the reason that we are unproductive, because they don't understand how to govern. And honestly, they don't even have a will to govern. And the fact that they are allowing somebody who basically is a shadow president to come out and tell them what to do, including Donald Trump, because listen, we know that Elon, as they have touted about how they need to get rid of the immigrants, let me be clear, Elon cannot become president of the United States because he is an immigrant who has gained U.S. citizenship later on in life. So he's not qualified to be, or he's not allowed to be under our Constitution. So instead he decided that he was going to buy a president, and right now he is pulling all the strings on Trump.
All right, let's get into it. Jasmine Crockett wastes no time taking aim at Donald J. Trump, the former president who, in her view, turned the Oval Office into something closer to a low-budget reality show filled with legal troubles, impulsive reactions, and nonstop drama. She makes it clear she isn't there to be polite, labeling him a master of division rather than a unifying leader, more focused on attention and branding than on serious leadership. While past presidents pored over briefings and policy details, Trump seemed far more interested in catchy slogans, spectacle, and online outbursts, often treating governance like a side project. Crockett also highlights the chaotic cast of characters around him, pointing especially to the dramatic fall of Rudy Giuliani, once a respected public figure and later remembered for viral moments, courtroom losses, and that infamous press conference outside a landscaping business. To her, the Trump years weren't a functioning administration so much as a messy blend of ego, confusion, and disorder with no clear direction and no steady hand at the wheel. She cuts through all the noise by describing it as a strange 4-year episode that felt disconnected from reality, flashy on the surface, but empty underneath, and somehow kept going long after the story had worn thin.
Yeah. But my concerns as ranking member of this subcommittee, as a member of Congress, and as an attorney, as well as a citizen, are based on things called facts. And when I say facts, I mean clear, indisputable facts, not those alternative facts my Republican colleagues continue pushing onto me.
To be clear, this isn't about ability, it's about choice. According to Crockett, some lawmakers have simply walked away from what the job is supposed to be, treating Congress like a group project where one side ignores the work and lets the whole country take the hit. Then the situation takes an even stranger turn when Elon Musk enters the conversation. Yes, that Elon Musk, the Tesla, Starlink, and social media mogul. Crockett argues he's not just commenting from the sidelines, but quietly shaping things behind the scenes, acting like a powerful tech figure pulling strings from afar because he can't run for office himself. In her telling, Trump isn't really calling the shots, but is he being steered indirectly, managed from a distance rather than leading outright, and the idea is unsettling. The richest person in the world with satellites in space, rockets on launch pads, and control over a massive online platform, potentially influencing national policy without ever being elected. Crockett frames this not as democracy, but as something far more troubling, where elected institutions fade into the background and power flows through money, technology, and influence instead of votes and accountability.
I'm tired of it because I didn't come to
to this chamber to play games. I came to this chamber to answer to the people, the American people, and to make sure that we keep the American people safe. And if we don't get something done, as they talk about the border, I do want to be clear, the only reason we haven't gotten funding for the border is because they killed, the House Republicans here, killed the bill that they actually sent us from the Senate side. If they want to do some work, let me tell you something. The Democrats are ready, and it seems like the Senate Republicans are ready too. They just need to...
Let's be clear and cut through the noise, because Jasmine Crockett isn't playing around here. She's delivering a serious public warning. In her view, the Trump administration and the broader MAGA movement didn't just mislead people, they normalized deception, turning politics into a system built on distortion and what she bluntly calls alternative facts. She argues that this isn't harmless rhetoric or clever messaging, because when leaders lie as a habit, the real-world consequences are severe. False reassurance during economic trouble, bad information during a public health crisis, or misleading claims about elections don't just confuse people, they put lives and trust at risk. Crockett makes the point that this goes beyond spin, describing it as a form of institutional gaslighting that erodes public confidence at its foundation. She also highlights how truth itself has been turned into a weapon, where facts aren't debated but dismissed and confusion becomes a strategy. The goal, she suggests, isn't discussion or understanding, but disruption and control, leaving the country so divided it can't even agree on basic reality. Logic is brushed aside, misinformation fills the gap, and democracy struggles to breathe. Crockett isn't exaggerating for effect. She's issuing a warning, reminding people that when lies shape policy, the damage is deep, lasting, and dangerous, and she's raising her voice before reality itself gets drowned out.
Also, when it comes down to Trump being able to pick talent, let's just do a quick evaluation. I mean, when we look at Rudy Giuliani, I know that Rudy Giuliani has lost everything from his law license to his money to his dignity. Heck, he was even losing his hair dye, okay? He has lost everything along with any other lawyer that's ever associated with him. And so now we get to JD Vance when he picks a VP running mate. And he also picked another loser, right? Because now the single cat ladies are coming for their ticket. This guy is a loser. And I just need America to step up one more time and remind him, just like they reminded him 4 years ago, that he's a loser and he is only good for entertainment. But when it comes to running this country, we need someone.
Let's clear up the myths surrounding Trump's supposed economic genius, because Jasmine Crockett doesn't buy it, and she argues everyday Americans shouldn't either, especially anyone who pays rent or buys groceries. She breaks it down simply. Those flashy tax cuts weren't designed to help working families. While billionaires already enjoying massive wealth received the biggest benefits, regular people were left with small gains that barely made a difference. Crockett isn't just revisiting the past, though. She's warning about what lies ahead. She suggests the economy is heading towards serious trouble and says the GOP seems unprepared, offering no real plan beyond cutting programs and removing safety nets while hoping things somehow work out. She compares that approach to trying to stop a flood with matches. It makes no sense. She also takes aim at the well-known tariffs, which Trump described as strong economic moves, but which Crockett argues were really hidden taxes that raise prices and hurt small businesses. Meanwhile, the wealthiest Americans still found ways to come out ahead. Her point is straightforward. Trump's economic record didn't lift the country as a whole. It mainly benefited billionaires while quietly sending the rest of America the bill.
One thing that is crumbling for the city of D.C. was that continuing resolution that defunded approximately $1 billion from them, but I will focus on today's hearing. The Republicans' recklessness and chaotic approach to reducing the size of government has shown us what we've already known. Concepts of a plan don't work. It's not just going to be Democrats who miss out on Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, or only Democratic veterans who miss out on their VA benefits. Their approach will negatively impact all Americans. So it's unfortunate that Republicans have taken a seemingly bipartisan issue and included it as part of their scam to subsidize tax giveaway for billionaires. They haven't proposed anything that will improve the efficiency of the government. Instead, they have put the country on a path to a recession and implemented the largest tax increase on Americans in decades through Trump's tariffs. This hearing is their latest attempt to try to convince the American people that dismantling public-facing agencies will somehow improve government efficiency.
She goes beyond pointing out hypocrisy and delivers sharp lines that slice straight through the noise, laying everything out clearly and turning it into a sharp critique rather than empty theatrics. Trump, in Crockett's framing, isn't a serious leader undone by circumstance, but someone driven almost entirely by ego, presiding over a chaotic political spectacle filled with scandals, investigations, and wild claims. JD Vance's rapid shift from outspoken critic to loyal supporter becomes another example she highlights, not just to mock it, but to show how quickly principles get dropped in the pursuit of power. Crockett doesn't just point at the contradictions, she puts them front and center, exposing the lies, reversals, and misleading narratives until they unravel on their own. What makes it striking is that it sounds like satire, yet it's all real, which is exactly the problem she's calling out. This isn't comedy for its own sake, but a direct and serious challenge to a movement that has turned governing into spectacle and leadership into performance. Her message is simple and firm. If politics has started to resemble a sideshow, then it's time for the public to stop being entertained and start demanding better. Thanks for watching, and if you appreciated the analysis, the hard truths, and the energy behind it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. More discussions are coming soon, so hit the notification bell and stay alert, thoughtful, and focused.